The Naked Gun is a brand new comedy action film starring Liam Neeson, Pamela Anderson, and Paul Walter Hauser. And what is up, my friends? My name is Danny. Welcome to Jones Vibes. In a day and age where we desperately need good comedy films, this is a franchise. This specific franchise is one of the ones that I was very curious if they were ever going to reboot. And when I saw that they were rebooting this, I got pretty excited, also a little bit nervous. And then I saw the first trailer and I kind of relaxed a bit because Liam Neeson seemed like he fit right into the franchise. Obviously, huge shoes to fill with Leslie Nielsen, rest in peace. But my friends, truly, I don't think I ever could have expected for this movie to reach the heights that it did. I'm so freaking stoked right now. I just walked out of this movie, so this is my out-of-theater reaction as well as a spoiler-free review. So don't worry, I'm not going to spoil anything. But without further ado, let's just talk about this thing. Alright, The Naked Gun, following in the footsteps of his bumbling father, Detective Frank Drebin Jr. must solve a murder case to prevent the police department from shutting down. And just a little bit about me here to start. I grew up loving this franchise. We would watch these movies all the time. This specific brand of comedy is just something that it always felt personal to me growing up. This kind of comedy formed my comedic taste, if you will. That and Saturday Night Live. But Leslie Nielsen, as a comedic actor, just as a performer, he was so freaking funny. This franchise, as well as Airplane, just those lines of dialogue that's like, Shirley, you can't be serious. And he's like, I am serious, and don't call me Shirley. I love that type of stuff, and I feel like it's something that's been missing from our society for so long. Like, as we got into the 2000s, raunchy comedy became the thing that sold. And although Superbad is my favorite comedy of all time, I absolutely love movies like that, you know what I mean? Wedding Crashers, all of those. It feels like these types of movies sort of got lost in the mix, and people started to be like, those types of films aren't that funny anymore. That's not what we're looking for, but everything ebbs and flows, and we finally reached a point where this is exactly what we need. And my friends, I just saw this movie. As I was walking out, I'm not even kidding when I say this, I thought to myself, this movie just might save the world. At least I feel like it can do some healing, because something that I noticed upon standing up, like when the lights came on in the theater and everybody stood up, everybody was looking around at each other. Everybody wanted to see each other's reactions. All of these people who don't know each other, they were popped out of their bubble for a moment. And these days, everybody's sucked into their own little thing. And even after you go to a Marvel movie or any other type of movie, you're typically just with the people that you watched it with and you want to talk about the film. But this was a movie where everybody was just kind of in agreement, like, wow, that was a freaking experience, an experience that I almost forgot was possible in a movie theater. And I'm so happy that it exists. And Liam Neeson was the perfect actor to choose for this role, stepping into these shoes. Again, Leslie Nielsen is the best. He was the man. He was the man of this franchise. But if you're gonna hand it over to somebody, hand it over to the dude who is the Taken dude, the action movie star who crosses over into comedy, and he does such a great job with the full-on commitment to some of these dumb freaking jokes, some of this dumb humor, as well as the lines of dialogue that are just so serious in tone, but you're like, he can't actually be serious right now, right? Like, he's not that stupid, right? It's amazing. And to touch on the cast a little bit more, Pamela Anderson, she was a great pick for the other side of this movie. I thought she was great as a little love interest for Liam Neeson. They're both like semi in the same age range, and it just works. There's a lot of really funny stuff having to do with their chemistry and some of the romantic moments. There's some callbacks to other franchises that you may have seen. There's a little bit of Austin Powers here. There's a little bit of Mission Impossible here. And then there's just a little bit of Naked Gun. If you've seen the trailer, that's about as far as I'll go with spoilers. But you remember the part where they're all kneeling down in front of their fathers. Like, all of these cops had fathers that worked in the police department, and they're all kneeling. And then it gets to the guy whose dad was OJ. And he's like, nah, I'm not doing that. Like, that's what we're working with here. Comedy brings people together, and when you're sitting in a movie theater and everybody's just laughing at this stuff, it's almost a healing experience. There's nothing to criticize here. There's nothing to scoff at here, because it's so unserious. It's so freaking silly, to the point where it becomes so silly that you kind of break out of the mold of that critical aspect of your brain, and you just enjoy yourself, and also start to pay attention to the story a little bit. And it does tell a pretty fun and compelling action story. It keeps you moving the entire time. It's not all just complete nonsense. It's not Happy Gilmore 2. I'm sorry that I had to say that, but it's true. It has a really solid foundation if you're familiar with the original films, but without that, it lays the groundwork with what to expect from this thing almost immediately. Within the first 10 minutes, you are well aware of the ride that you are now on, and you know that every other line of dialogue is just going to be a bit, and they're going to commit to the bit, and they're going to commit hard to the bit. And as I get older, older, I am starting to turn into a bit of a softie with this kind of stuff, and you might ask yourself, like, why would you ever be tearing up at something like this? But it's nostalgic. It truly is very nostalgic for me. Like, I put the Naked Gun franchise, as well as just talking about like SNL earlier, and movies like Tommy Boy and Wayne's World and all of that kind of stuff, I put it in a really high regard, or at least I hold it to a high regard. And when it comes to humor like this, I hope, and I would imagine, like the director, Akiva Schaffer, I think the people involved with this probably realize that what they're doing is special and what they're doing is important work, because over the last 10, 15 years or so, this world has been made up to be so freaking serious. Everybody is so freaking serious about every little thing all the time. But movies like this teach a very important lesson. You don't have to live your life like that all the time. It's okay every now and then to relax. It's okay every now and then to laugh and try to be funny. Try to be funny with your friends. Make fun of each other. That's what comedy is, and that's why comedy is important for society. And so whereas in the 1970s, 80s, 90s, this movie might come out and it might just be another Naked Gun film and people are having a great time, it's actually important these days because we don't get this anymore, especially a theatrical release. This is typically the type of movie that might just find its way onto Amazon or onto Netflix. So, I mean, really, my message with this review is just to tell people, go out and watch this movie. Go out and have a great time, because it's a tight 90 minutes. It's a little bit less than 90 minutes. The movie was over in a blink, and it felt like a freaking thrill ride. It also has post-credit scenes, which is a really good time, and also stick around for the credits and read the credits, because there's some really, really, really funny stuff within the credits themselves. So a lot of little Easter eggs here and there, a lot of little Easter eggs to the original franchise. You have some musical cues from the original franchise that definitely touched my heart as a fan. Lauren Balfe, the composer for, I believe he composed the Mission Impossible, a couple of Mission Impossible, what was it, Rogue Nation and Fallout. I mean, there are some definite similarities to the score between Mission Impossible and The Naked Gun, and it actually has an orchestra playing during this whole movie. You know what I mean? They didn't just hire somebody on a synth and say, hey, you go do this, and that's why it felt more cinematic. So it's just, it walks this really delicate fine line of humor, kind of balancing like a little bit too far and a little bit too light the entire time, and that's just that perfect straight and narrow that you want to see, you know what I mean? But two more quick things I want to talk about. The first one was the villain, Danny Huston. This guy is just so great. Like, he's such a great villain, and he turns in an excellent performance. Again, very similar to Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson. He was just the correct choice. But the second was just a thought I had driving home. I think this is the best comedy that's come out in the last decade, possibly the last 15 years. I think Superbad is probably the best comedy that's come out anytime before this. And you might watch this movie and disagree with me, but I mean, personally, I haven't laughed this hard in a theater in so freaking long. And so I hope you guys get out to it and you go see it and you enjoy it. If I have to give it my Jones Vibe star rating per usual, I'm giving this movie 5 out of 5 stars. I'm giving it a perfect score because it's the perfect comedy for the world right now. But once again, leave all your thoughts down in the comments. But more than anything, my friends, I hope you're keeping up the good vibes. I will see you in the next video, all right? Peace!